Happening. Hope we're all good today. We're back with another episode of Behind the Grill. This is the second one I've recorded in 2 days. I've got a third one tomorrow, so we're going for the hat trick. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. It's we're getting some really good feedback actually, which is really nice to hear. And I'm glad you're enjoying watching the show, listening to the show. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Jimmy Lomas today. Jimmy, say hello.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. All good.
So yeah, Jimmy's a guy I followed on Instagram for quite a while now, actually, since I've started my my coaching journey on Insta, and someone that I've really admired, and the content he's producing, especially those cold winter nets outside at Toft. You've got to have some bravery to do that. But yeah, we're going to chat to Jimmy about all kind of things, really. Sort of Jimmy's journey so far. And again, we'll talk about some topical conversation with cricket. But yeah, first of all, Jimmy, if you'd like to just introduce yourself and tell the Behind the Grill viewers who you are, really.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it. So yeah, my name is Jimmy. I'm a cricket coach mainly. That's most of my job. I do some other things as well. I do a little bit of fitness work as well, but mainly cricket coach. Probably a slightly unconventional way into where I am now. So I've done a series of different jobs. I worked in fitness for a long time. Took a break from that a couple of years ago. Ended up going to an office job. And then when COVID struck, got put on furlough and sort of realised actually this poly job's not going to be there for me. And it was halfway through that summer of 2020 where I actually remember the moment. I've got a little garage gym downstairs, and I was just thinking, what am I going to do? Because I knew that job wasn't going to be there. I didn't want to work in an office, and it just sort of light bulb went off. Because I do loads of coaching anyway. I do loads of the club. I thought, why don't I just do this full time? Because kids haven't been playing cricket performance, so there must be a demand for it. And then it just sort of started there. I just put it out there, look, open to do some one-to-one coaching. And it's just gone from there, mate. It's just snowballed. I honestly thought I might get a couple of weeks alongside everything else. But to be able to turn into a full-time job is, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice place to be, actually.
Yeah.
Despite the cold winter nights and days that you talked about, which, mate, and it's made me look forward to summer more than you could ever imagine. But you just do it. You just suck it up and do it.
Yeah, it's a strange one actually, because it's kind of it's a little bit similar to me in the sense of I trained to be a PE teacher last year, and had in my mind I've been coaching since I was 16, bit of football, and then about 5 years ago got into my cricket coaching anyway, did my level 2. And I went to university and was like, always in my mind, I'm going to be a PE teacher. That was it. I'm going to be a PE teacher.
Yeah.
Love working with kids. And then did my teacher training during COVID. And how do I put it politely? It was bloody hard work.
Yeah, I bet.
And
was that because of COVID or just in general?
Oh, mate, it was hard enough without COVID, but like I started a placement during the second lockdown, so just after Christmas last year.
Yeah.
So I was having to teach kids I'd never met before GCSE PE on Zoom. And what I found really difficult with my teacher training was you jump through hoops, but I felt that the hoops were just getting smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where I was just like, I don't think I want to do this. And then that's when I took the decision to go, do you know what? Let's go on my own and kind of go the same route as you and to go, like, let's do this for a living.
It's funny you talk about being a PE teacher, because when I went to university, it was always in the back of my mind that's what people always told me I ended up doing. I always kind of went, I want to rebel against that. If someone tells you you're going to do something, you want to give it away, don't you? People always told me, like, you're going to be a PE teacher. So I kind of went, well, no, I'm not. And then I realised down the years, maybe I could be. And I always say you need more PE teachers in schools. But from the research I did and the amount of applications I've done, it was a nightmare even just get a placement and just try and get in any sort of, I can't think of the word, you know what I mean? Try and get in a school or even get on the course. And I just went, you know what? It shouldn't be this difficult.
No,
but I just never bothered.
Yeah, it's hard. And that year training was, I mean, I learned loads. I learned absolutely loads, and it's made me a better coach and a better teacher and whatever.
Yeah.
And I worked with some amazing people. And I think that was one of the key things. It wasn't the people, the people I work with. I have the most admiration for teaching. My missus is a teacher. My mum works in a school, but it just wasn't for me. And what I love about what we do now is we get to work with so many different people, and my week looks completely different each week. You know, I could be most things stay the same, but I tend to get lots of different people, and I'm in lots of different places every other day, and I love it. Love that freedom of just being able to go, right, we're going to go there today and we're going to coach these people, or we're going to go over there and we're going to do this. And I think that's
one of the best things I found since doing this, working for yourself. I mean, so I've gone from working gym shifts where you're in at 5, 6 a.m. up to 11 at night, from then doing the 9 to 5 where it's quite fixed, to then running your own diary, working effectively as much as you want, or when you can, your own hours. The flexibility gets so much better, but while still doing something you love doing. Yeah. So I get to take my dog out for a walk in the morning. You know, I get to go to the gym late morning, and then I know I've got an afternoon of working. Yeah. But it's great. I love it. It's a great place to be be able just to manage your own diary and be able to know that, right, I know I'm going to do this week, and certain opportunities will come along. You go, yes, I'll do that. I won't do that. And I do like the flexibility. Sometimes you're doing something a bit different. I suppose for me, that's why I'm trying to grow myself. When I started, it was mainly just at the club, with basically top players. And then as it's gone on, I'm kind of like 50-50 now with people outside the club and inside the club. Yeah. So my sort of idea is just trying to grow as much as I can. So yeah, it's great that I'm doing work at the club. I love that. But then bringing people outside the club, and I also want to go and try and do some work, not be at top nets all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great place. It's one of the prettiest grounds you'd ever be at. But I do want to go and be elsewhere. Coach with the things like, for example, before Christmas, I went indoors with the Cheshire EPP lads, which was great. Just a different environment, different players. You see different skill sets, different people. It's just see how different coaches do things differently, which I think is one of the most enjoyable things about this little coaches union that there's going on social media at the moment. I reckon there's a group of us, and everyone's putting out different bits of content, and you pick bits up, don't you? And you just go, yeah, I like that. I love a bit of that. Like, take Josh, for example, we're keeper coach. I know I'm not a great keeping coach. Yeah. I know how you can catch a ball and all that basic stuff, but in terms of drills, I've messaged him loads of times. I've got a keeper, what can I do? And that's what I love about it. I love that little community that we've got. That you can go, right, I know he can help me out, or whatever. Yeah, mate, I couldn't put it into better words, and that's the one thing I've noticed. And I said this yesterday. I said this on the last episode, was that, you know, we as coaches, we don't take credit for stuff. I think we're all nicking ideas constantly, and then molding them into our own. And you know, the same thing. Like, I've got a wicket keeper that I work with in my Suffolk under 15 girls, and I know that I can't push her as much as I'd like to, so I can go, right, you've got Instagram, go look at his page, go study his page, and go and speak to him, because he'll help you. And that's the beauty of, as you said, the community we're in at the moment, where we can help each other. We can just chat cricket, coaching, and just steal ideas. I think a little bit of that is leaving your ego at the door as well. Yeah. Like, I think, it's knowing that you don't know everything as a coach. By, like, in any way, shape, or form, do I know everything about what I'm trying to teach? And I think you need to be quite transparent that with who you're coaching with. So I think some people might think you know all the answers, but I don't think you don't. And like I said, like you just said, like, just the ability to go onto social media, whether that's Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, and just go and find what other people are doing. So I use that a lot in my sessions. I'll flick through the coach on Instagram. If I'm teaching something, it's not quite going in, so trying to find another way to explain it, and I'll just go and show them how someone else is showing someone, or just how someone else does it. The player might play in a certain shot, and all it takes is that one little moment, one little light bulb goes off, and all of a sudden, right, we're away. But you couldn't do that if you just thought, no, I know everything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You have to be humble enough to go, no, I don't, but I know other people that do, and I'm going to ask them. Yeah, and we're always. I mean, I'm as a coach myself, I've developed over the last year. I've developed over the last 3 years, 5 years, in terms of my knowledge. And I will see other people coach, and I'll go,
I like that, and I'll take that knowledge and then I can pass it on to someone else. And it's always evolving, and I know that I will never ever be the perfect coach. I know that I'll do a good job, and I trust my own skills to deliver good sessions and good feedback to players, but I will never be the finished article ever. And yeah, that's kind of how I think that's such a big thing for us coaches, is, as you say, leaving that ego at the door. You know, we're all in the position we're in because of the experiences we've had and the places we've worked and the people we've worked with and stuff. And it's we can always improve on that. Always
get better. And like you say to a player, you can always get better. Well, us coaches can always get better.
Yeah,
100%. It's yeah, I couldn't sort of believe that enough, to be honest. It's just a case of always learning. And I'll spend 15, 20 minutes a day, whether that's a podcast, whether that's going on YouTube or some sort of research where, and it might be something I've already watched before or already listened to, but I'm just trying to relearn certain things. So I found this YouTube account called Cricket Life Stories. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they have interviews and masterclasses with like proper coaches, level 3, level 4, 5 coaches and ex-players. And it's just nice just to listen to how they go about certain things. And I'll then actually take some of that into those sessions, try it. Does that work? No, not for me. Or maybe it does work for me. Do you know what I mean? So you're always just trying to, like you said, just take something from some people, saying it's my idea or my my content. You're just sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Which I think is the way it should be. We're trying to make everyone better cricketers, aren't we?
100%. And it made me laugh because I did a fielding drill with my girls. The first week I had them, I did this fielding drill, a little roundabout. But it was a different roundabout to what you would usually see. And the first thing the girl said to me was, "Oh, that was really good. It was so different. We've never done this before." And I said, "Oh, well, I nicked that from someone else." You know, I saw a coach do it at Lord's and was like, "I like this." I took it, nicked it, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, this is amazing. You're so good." I'm like, "It wasn't me. It was someone else."
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. That's it. Exactly. You're exactly right, mate. And it's I try and do the same now. I do it with certain drills, or if I'm trying, let's say from my sort of system, we're doing a lot of focus on trying to get our weight back into the ball. And I saw a post on Instagram the other day about it was really weird because I was thinking about it, and then I saw a couple of guys post about just a couple of drills you can do to help transfer your weight back into the ball. And I'd seen one or two before, but then there were one or two I hadn't seen. Right, so I'll have a go at those, and it just, you know what I mean? You're just always developing.
Yeah.
And I think it's the best way for us to learn. And that's why I think we're so lucky to live in an age where you've got all those tools, where it's not just, like, imagine if this was 20, 30 years ago, we wouldn't be doing this. But like you will go to a lesson, a coaching course once every so often. You learn everything you need to know there. Then you go away and do it. You don't pick anything else up, do you? Whereas now we have the ability to constantly learn stuff, which I think is great. It can only improve us and players.
Yeah, and as you said, like the game's ever evolving. And this was a conversation I had with James in the first podcast, is just how cricket in itself is evolving in the way that we deliver stuff. Because it's changed. It's changed over the last. I'd say it's changed over the last year, especially with the 100 being brought in the way that white ball cricket is being played at the moment. It's frightening, the skill set that these players have in terms of. And I think as coaches we have to. I know that even in my under 15 squad we play 40 over stuff and 20 over stuff. My 40 over team will look different to my 20 over team, and there are players in that that will be batting higher in that T20 squad who have got such a skill set compared to those 40 over players. Yeah. You coach them in different ways, and that's just in one squad playing white ball cricket, but it's still completely different. And we have to be really adaptable now.
I think that's a great word, adaptability.
Yeah.
And it's just, you almost have to do every session you'll do that, because I try and plan my week. So at the moment I have Monday as my day off, and that's my admin planning day.
Yeah.
Right, what's the plan for the week, etc. Now I work Tuesday to Sunday, and then review that. Right, how's that gone? What can we do better? What can we do this week? And almost trying an unofficial program, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we might do pace for a few weeks, we might do spin for a few weeks, whatever. But then adaptability is a big one, because I could then have in my mind, right, we'll do some drives, we'll face a bit of short stuff, whatever it is. And then that 12-year-old lad, whoever it could be 15, whatever, I want to do this today. Can we do this? Yes, of course we can.
Yeah.
It's your hour, it's your session.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to, adaptable is the way to be. Or I might have one of the older lads come, I've just struggled with this, can we do this today instead? And I'm not going to go, no, we are doing front foot drives and I'm going to bowl short at you. You know what I mean? We're not.
Yeah.
It's his session or her session, or it's their session, not mine. So adaptability is a massive word.
Yeah, and players lead my sessions. Myself and a guy called Rob Southall, we pretty much run the Suffolk girls section from 15s to the ladies first team, and we are facilitators. We don't go in and go, we have an idea of a plan on what we want to work on, but for those girls, and they have to take their own responsibility and go, this is my game, this is what I'm good at, this is what I need to improve on. And for us, we allowing them to think and allowing to have that time where, I spend 10 hours a week coaching with those girls through different sessions. They are getting this amazing time to work on their skill set over the winter, but also they're taking that time to think and process and understand their game a lot more. And if you can do that, your game will improve massively, because it's understanding that's your strength, that's your weakness. Not everything has to be a strength and not everything has to be a weakness. And as long as we can make those weaknesses slightly better and keep those strengths really strong, we're flying.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Getting players to understand their game is a big thing. But I suppose, and this is what I'm trying to learn, is that what age is that the right age to try and figure that out? And I suppose the answer is there isn't a set age, is there? Because everyone's going to be slightly different. Like, you could have a really mature 13, 14-year-old, or you could have an immature 16, 17-year-old. You know what I mean? It's that balance. But I think we've got guys that are starting to play senior cricket at 13, 14, 15. I mean, that's where you've got to try and get them to start understanding, right, how are you actually going to score runs?
Yeah.
Because I've got a couple of players that look really good in the nets. Like we all see those guys. They can play, in isolation. They're going to play every shot you put on offer. Like, we do some sweeps, they'll nail them. Do some cuts, they'll nail them. It's then transferring that into that game, in that game in the summer. Right, how do you actually score runs?
Yeah.
I think the two things are so different, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, how many ugly batters have you seen grind out runs just by playing 2 or 3 shots because they know their game? But yet you've seen this prestige, like really good looking, like technically good looking 15, 16-year-old who can't get anywhere, just keeps nailing fielders because he's overdrilled on the bowling machine. So I think you've got to try and find the balance between them finding their own game, technique stuff, and then actually, how do you score runs?
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, that's your currency, isn't it? So we try and spend a lot of time, hopefully every session, not doesn't happen every time, but a little bit of time where we'll just set a field in the net, make it a scenario as realistic as you can, and whether that's right, you're opening the batting, whether you're batting at 5, whatever it is you're chasing, something where it's just so when you get to the 23rd of April, whenever we start, you've done it before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like the first time you've done it. And you don't just keep blocking field. You look really good, but what's the point?
Yeah.
You have to score runs, aren't you?
Yeah, we do it. I've done a lot of scenario stuff with my with the girls, and get the whiteboards out. Bowlers are setting their own fields. Batters know what they're doing, and I think that's as a kid. Well, 10 years ago, I was the same age as them, and I wasn't a part of a county setup as a kid, but wouldn't have dreamed of doing stuff like that. And I think that's changed.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. They love it.
I've got this little small clipboard, whiteboard thing that I'll take to our junior nets on a Sunday afternoon, and we're doing it with the under 9s and 11s. So these kids are like, what, 8, 9, 10, 11? So they're young. I'm just asking them, right, how are you going to set a field? Do you know your fielding positions? Most of them don't. But then just learning something new like that, and then, this is what I've got to try and do. They want to be challenged. They don't just want to rock up and just have a net for an hour and then go home. You got to, and I suppose that's my, if I was going to describe myself in one word in terms of what I'm trying to make it, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Everything we do. if we can make it, we then challenge people on top of that. Great. But I think number one's got to be, it's got to be fun. Then they come back.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I completely agree. Because this is the first year I've been involved in, I'd say, performance coaching in terms of working with Suffolk Cricket. And before that, just working with club cricketers and stuff. And my philosophy was always fun. Let's bring them back. Let's get them engaged. And my role as the under-7 lead coach at my club is we babysit a little bit, but we provide a fun environment for the kids to go, oh, I like coming to cricket. And then when they get a little bit older, that's when the skills come in. That's when but we just want them to come back. And it's a Friday night. The mum and dad are having a glass of wine on the side. I've got my boombox blaring some bangers, and the kids have fun. We play lots of games, and it's cricket related, and that's how it should be. And now working in performance coaching, I think it's the same. The kids need to enjoy being in that environment, because that environment is difficult in itself, playing at a higher level, but also you've got to make them want to be there. If they don't want to be there, they won't succeed.
And they won't come back. It's as simple as that. They won't come back. But I don't think that stops at any level. I mean, I'm never coaching sort of a elite county or international level, but I can imagine they'll enjoy their training more if it's fun.
Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, there's going to be times they're going to have to do some pretty hard work, but if they can do that in a fun environment, I can imagine that'd be better. And I don't, even with our senior players, like we had our training session last night. Well, it's like the first 10 minutes, music wasn't on, a bit soulless. Right, get the speaker on, put some music on, let's have a laugh with it.
Yeah.
We train, and you actually, what happens? You end up training a little bit harder
because
you've got a bit more energy about you, and then it's like, well, and then you get people excited to come back again the week after.
Yeah.
I think it has to be your aim every level, because if you think about it, what's the percentage of people from that sort of, if you go back to that younger age group, so let's say, I don't know, 12, 13, let's say you've got 50 kids in that age group. I mean, what's the percentage of those guys that are actually going to end up playing senior cricket, county cricket, international cricket? It's such a low amount. So if you need to facilitate for everyone. So you've got to make it as enjoyable for everyone as possible. And then those few that start to excel, right, I'll push those ones. Do you know what I mean? But if I've got a guy who's not that interested in cricket, he's come with his mates to have fun, he is not interested in hitting 15 cover drives off the tee.
No.
Not interested. Not going to come back. So you've got to try and do it the right way, where everyone's challenged and everyone's having fun with it, that's our job, isn't it? And we've got to try and do that.
Spot on. I was going to ask what your coaching philosophy is, but I think we've kind of gone down that route in terms of.
That's it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. You want people to learn. 100%. You want to try people to learn. You want people to get technically better. But I think cricket is part of it. I don't think cricket's all of it. I'm trying to make people better people, which sounds quite corny, quite you know what I mean? It's quite a phrase. But like, if I've got 13, 14, 15-year-old kids and I'm seeing them for 1-2 hours a week, that for me, I see that as an opportunity to try and help them grow as a person. Because we all know that the old adage that cricket's like life and all these sort of things. Well, it is in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if we can make people, cricketers, better cricketers, and if they go on and play cricket at senior level when they get to 20, 25, brilliant. If they don't and they become a better person, I've almost done an even better job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd rather, that's just as important to me as them being a great cricketer is great, perfect. I want them to be good cricketers. I'm hoping they do. But if they don't, it's not the end of the world. But if they can be better people and they've enjoyed their time with me and got a little bit better and learned some skills, ideal.
Yeah. And I think it's just, for us, it's providing a place for them to thrive, try new things, and not worry about consequences. One of the first things that I noticed with the girls was that fear of failure, and
massive, isn't it?
And even in the, I can understand it's difficult where you're coming into a county age group setup and you've got a new coach and you think, oh, I need to impress him and stuff like that. But I'm an average club cricketer at best. You don't need to impress me about how good you are. I know you're good enough because you're here. And one of the big things that I've worked on with my girls over the last, well, we're 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 weeks into winter training, is try stuff. Try stuff. What is the worst that could happen if it goes wrong?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could go wrong if you have a bad net or you miss the ball? There's nothing. And I can relate so much because I was that 15-year-old when I played sport, and if it didn't go right, I was a sulker. I was a grumpy little shit. But now,
do you follow the cricket mentoring guy, Tom Scully?
Yeah.
Now he talks a lot about, again, this is just talking about stealing the idea. He talks a lot about identity as cricketers. It's one of I listen to a lot of his stuff. This is one of the ones that stuck with me the most. It's especially young cricketers, but cricketers in general, we almost see ourselves as Jimmy Lomas cricketer. And if cricket doesn't go well at the weekend, that's me. That's I'm in a mood, or if I have a bad net, right? Oh, it's horrendous. Whereas actually, I'm Jimmy Lomas who plays cricket. Cricket is one part of my life. I've got so many other different things that I'm enjoying as part of it. But if that doesn't go well, does it really matter? No.
Yeah.
Do I want it to go well? Yes, I do. Of course I do. We care, and I'm going to do as much as I can to make that to go as well as I can. Am I going to get 5 for every week? No. I'm going to get 100 every week? No. You know what I mean? So it's just, and trying to install that mindset into the players. It's not always going to go well because we're playing a game that's instilled with failure. So it's because it is, isn't it? We play a game that we don't, and we fail more often than not.
Yeah.
And I think you have to try and get that to come across to them as much as you can, and that not that it doesn't matter, because it doesn't. Because in the grand scheme of the world, we're playing a game. It doesn't really matter, does it, if we win or lose? But it does, because we do care about it. We do want to win. We do want to do well. So it's that word balance, isn't it? And getting people to identify that it's important, but don't let it ruin your life if it didn't go well.
Yeah. I Scholes was one of the first people quite a few years ago actually. I followed him and loved the stuff that he put on there.
I think he's almost, for us guys, he's almost like the benchmark of what a coach can be.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to get bigger and bigger, which is great. But the sort of setup he's got over there in Perth is, for me, I find that quite inspiring. That's something I want to try and get to. Not copy him.
Yeah.
But like that idea that you've got your own centre, you've got athletes you're taking on tour, you've got your own online business, all that sort of stuff. I think because he's doing it, he's been 5, 6 years into it. So he's further down the road. But I see that so inspiring. And like, right, that's what it can be if you just work hard at it.
Yeah, I remember speaking to him actually a few years ago about Teague Wiley. So for those of you that don't know, Teague Wiley was one of Tom's main clients, and there was a video that went viral on social media. I think it went viral on YouTube of Teague. I think he was 14 at the time, in an England shirt, facing 100 miles an hour on a bowling machine and nailing it. And Teague has just gone. He's just represented Australia under 19s in the World Cup and had a very, very good tournament. And a lot of Australia are talking about him. And I remember speaking to Scholes a few years ago saying, this boy's good, isn't he? And he went, yeah, he'll go far. And what I love as well is that now he's got 135,000 followers on Instagram. Him as a person has just boomed. But he still takes the time to speak to people. Just the other week, I got shared on his Instagram story, and I was buzzing. And I spoke to him, and he took the time out of his day just to speak to me for a little bit. And he does. He speaks to people, and he's so approachable. And that's what I love about this sport, is that, again, even though he's here, he's still part of that community.
Yeah.
And a rumor has it he might be on the podcast. Might
be. Look out for that.
We've had some conversations, but the time difference might be. I'll get up at 3 a.m. to speak to him.
Yeah, I think it was you that's getting up, not him.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. To be fair though, it's Perth, isn't it? So the time difference isn't as bad.
No, you're right.
Scholes, if you are watching this, please come on the pod, because it will be unreal. We'll talk so much good stuff. Maybe we can have like special guests on there as well. yeah, he as you say, I think he is the pinnacle where we
Yeah.
are right now. He's the pinnacle, and as I said before, that access to the higher level is a lot easier in cricket in terms of players and coaches are so much more easily accessible. I was looking at just go slightly off topic. I was looking at the New Zealand South Africa Test score this morning, and there's three. So three of the New Zealand team played in the Premier League where I'm based.
Right.
So Devon Conway played over here for Vauxhall Mallards. Tom Blundell played for Colchester, which is up the road in a different league, and Matt Henry was one of the school's pros, St Joe's pros, and Glenton Sturman was our overseas pro 3 years ago, and he's made his Test debut for South Africa. Oh, and we had Hamza, the batter. He was in this league as well. And you look at that and you go, that's unreal. In terms of, like, I got to play with Glenton for most of the season. And like, his skill set was just...
Mate, it's mad being around those sort of pros where you just get to see how they go about things.
Yeah.
Either when you play with them or you play against them, you just see how they go about it, and just without taking coach's hat off for a second, but you just get to enjoy watching. I know it sounds like I don't want to see someone score 100 against us, but if someone's going to, I quite want it to be you, because I want to watch you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to watch them bat. So, mate, it's great that we get to have access to the ability to play with or against good players. It doesn't happen in many sports, does it? You're not going to go to a local football club and you're going to have one of United's players play. No, it just doesn't happen.
I know. These are international cricketers. 5 out of that 22 played club cricket in East Anglia over the last 5 years, which is, and I imagine most of them played club cricket elsewhere as well.
I was going to say, yeah, most of them would have played it somewhere.
Yeah. I was speaking to one of the guys who played against Conway. He's actually got Conway's number. I said, why don't you get him over for this summer? We could do with a batter.
He's all right. He'd go all right.
Yeah, he'd do all right, I reckon. Just 1,000 or a bit. That'll do. But like, even he said this was before he was on the kind of, he made the stage in New Zealand. He was over here. He came over here for 2 years and he just licked it everywhere.
He looks a proper player. He looks really organised. But like what I like about him is it's so simple. Yeah. I know every play is different, but like, I don't want to compare him to any English openers, but if you think about it, like how simple his technique is compared to some of our guys, it's a no-brainer he's scoring runs. It's so simple. I mean,
and he knows his game, and I think this is such a especially batting, because batting is so complex. And obviously, England batters are having a torrid time at the moment, but the best batters in the world know their game inside out. You look at Labuschagne, you look at Kohli, you look at Root. Root is, as you say, a simple batter, but he knows that this is his strengths. He loves a sweep, loves a back foot punch, and he'll get on the front foot and drive. That's him.
That's it. And if he gets a good ball, he gets him out. He'll go, that's a good ball.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's going to happen. So I think you're right. And I think watching those elite players, how simple it looks, is a good thing for us to try and then put onto our people we're coaching. Is that sometimes they try and move a lot, and if we're not getting too technical for a bit, but like if you look at, I know because it's quick, you haven't got time to move. But if you look at, you see Marnus put a load of videos on the last few weeks of him netting, hasn't he? So I've used those in a lot of my coaching sessions, just showing players how small amount he actually moves. And just because, I don't know if you find it, but I find a lot of younger players or people that are still quite new to it, or women as well, they move a lot. So when they're batting, they're all over, like not all over the place, but like head's going one way, foot going the other way. Do you know what I mean? So it's trying to make them it's small, precise movements. And they go, all right, okay, but what does that look like? So I'll try and show them, fine. But then if I show them like an actual pro as well, just reinforces that idea that, right, this is what this is what it looks like, and it might not happen that session or the session after, but eventually he'll get it. It'll sort of sink in. It'll go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, and well, the best way to show is let's show the best batter in the world right now. How does he do it? And you want them not to mimic them because you're not going to be Marnus Labuschagne, but it's the fundamentals, isn't it? It's balance, back foot contact steal, weight into the ball, back path, all that stuff that we say, but it sits here. It doesn't quite go.
It's just buzzwords, isn't it? We'll say sort of word, and then unless they know exactly what back path means. If I'm saying back path to an 11-year-old, I'm not sure he knows what that means.
No.
I mean, but if I can show him exactly where he needs to go from there to there, right, it might sort of click. Or right, how does Marnus's back go from there to there?
Yeah.
And he'll just, I tell him to go home and watch it, because kids love YouTube. So rather than watching videos of, I don't know, Minecraft, why don't they go and watch maybe 90% Minecraft and just a little bit of cricket? You know what I mean? Just try to sneak that in, just try and learn from, because you've got it's out there. Go and learn from them. It's great that you're coming to us as coaches, and we're here to sort of, like you said, facilitate and try and help you become as good as you can. But no player in the world becomes a good player by having 1 or 2 one-to-ones a week.
No.
That's part of it. It's really important. But then you've got to have your team training. You've got to then have your training, your stuff away from that. What you're doing away from those sessions. You don't just do an hour a week and become the best player in the world. You have to do everything else that goes with it. So yeah, we've gone off on a tangent again. But yes.
That's what we do anyway. I wanted to talk about actually New Zealand. I think they are criminally underrated as a side. In terms of as a mould, potentially with India as well. I think they're one of the best all-round teams in terms of their red ball and their white ball.
Yeah. Do you think it's because they don't play as much? Do you think that's an element of it?
Potentially, they don't play that much cricket in comparison. Well, you look at England. England play
in comparison to England.
It could be a factor. I just think that they've got it right in terms of
It looks like a really good, like, looks a really nice place to be, like, culture-wise.
Yeah.
It looks like I want to go and play cricket with those guys.
Yeah.
I bet, and I'll have a beer with those guys. You know what I mean? They look like blokes that you'd want to play with, play for. I think that's all stemmed back from Vittori, McCullum, all those sort of guys. Those sort of Williamson's carried that on, and I imagine whoever next will do the same thing. It's just their way of going about it. If you look at the All Blacks, they're the same. It's the same sort of idea, isn't it? That they've got such high quality standards, I'd say.
Yeah, the Kiwis, they're lovely people, aren't they? But I think I'm just looking at their side from last night. There's no Williamson; he's not injured at the moment. But the balance of that side, you've got Mitchell and de Grandhomme as the kind of all rounders. A pacer, no spinner. Wagner, Jameson, Southey, and Henry. No Bolt. They've always been a side that have had depth.
Yeah. I really rate Jameson.
Oh, mate.
I tell you what, mate. If he was running in phase, I'd be absolutely putting himself. If he was running in, look how big he is. I bet he's twice as big as me.
Yeah.
And he'd be frightening. He bowls at what, 145, 150 clicks. Hard length. Swings it. Gives it a whack as well. Like just a good cricketer.
Like, I just can't imagine facing a bowler, that bowls 145 clicks that can swing it both ways, nip it both ways. You're just thinking, right, I'm gonna hold it here and hope. I remember I spoke to Jake Mickleby. So Jake used to play for Essex. He played for Essex for 4 or 5 years. And I think Jake was really hard done by because he was an opening batter and he was there in the time of Cook, Brown, Chopra. And when he played, he scored runs, but he just didn't get the chance. And then Cookie then came back into the fold, and then Jake he was pushed to the side. And I remember talking to him about. I said to him, when was the time you were most scared he said, I've never really been scared playing cricket, but I remember facing Anderson at Old Trafford, and he was bowling mid-80s, and I couldn't pick him. And he was just like, imagine facing someone you can't pick him, and he's bowling at 85 clicks. Just didn't know which way he was going to swing. I just thought that must be terrifying.
You're guessing, aren't you? Just guessing.
Yeah, he was just like, right, I'm going to put my bat here and hope he swings it away and misses the bat, and I've survived another ball. But that just then the skill level of, and I think that's the thing is, we look at I've played with minor county cricketers. I've played with and against guys that have then gone on to play international cricket, but that step up between minor counties to county to international is
huge.
Oh, it's massive. And those guys that play sort of county cricket that come into like a Premier League fold to play a few games or whatever, they stand out like a sore thumb. And they make it, as you say, they make it look so easy, so easy.
But then they go into that county environment, and then they can find it really difficult. Or if they went into that international level, they'd make it look like we would against the county cricket. Do you know what I mean? So you're right. The top sort of 5-10% of cricketers are so much further ahead than everyone else.
Yeah,
it's impressive to watch though. Like we said before, when you watch someone with that skill level live on TV is great. But if you get to go and watch it live, even like in a net scenario, just like how good they actually are. People don't appreciate like how good these people are, and I know that media always hammers certain people for not performing, and they get well paid and it's their job, etc. But like they're so good.
Yeah, people don't appreciate the skill level cricketers have. I remember this story will stick with me forever. So I work at Lords as a coach for the MCC. I work in the indoor centre, so that kind of job is just coaching every Tom, Dick, and Harry, just local kids that want to play cricket, and we do camps and we have one-to-ones and clients and all sorts. But I remember coming into work early. This is when I was living in London at uni, and Middlesex were training on the nursery ground. They were playing, I think it was Notts. They were going to play Notts in the T20 quarter-final. And I've walked through the North Gate, and as you walk through to the indoor centre, you walk literally down the nursery ground. And I honestly thought gunfire was going off. Genuinely thought a gun was going off. Walk around the corner and just see this MRF stick just going. And I was like, that's A.B. de Villiers. And genuinely, like 2-3 meters away, he's just having a net, and he's just whacking it so cleanly, just pinning the indoor centre, just bang, bang, bang. And just watching him hit for 10 minutes was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Special, isn't it?
Oh, mate. And the best thing about it was he turned up, he must have hit for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. He went into the back room to do a load of merch and sign a load of merch. Said good morning to me. I was just sat there having my lunch. He just said good morning to me. Didn't have to. And while the other lads were training, he was like, I've got an event in London. See you later. And then I think he licked like 70 the next night against Notts. But special player, special talent. But
mate, I was fortunate enough. So Ashes 2013, I got invited to go netball with England and Australia at Old Trafford, which is pretty cool actually. And it's quite a weird. I don't know if you've ever seen those sort of environments, or those that haven't. It's quite a weird. I mean, you get used. You do get used, but it's weird. There was almost like this a bench, and there's like seamers, off spinners, leg spinners, left arm spinners, whatever. There was a whole load of us, and it was basically like, so the England boys would train, and let's say Panesar and Swan, whoever it was, were bowling for England. Right, the minute Swan stopped bowling, right, I need an off spinner in here, please. And he just comes up, right, off you go. Right, Panesar's done. He's left arm spinner, so off I trot into a net. And then Peterson whacks it around for 10 minutes. You have a bowl at trot or whatever. And you just, right, Panesar's back in now, you can go. And they were a bit more polite than that, but that was the essence of it. You were just kind of kind of used, but just watching those players go about and how they train things, how everyone was slightly different. So the one that stood out to me the most was Shane Watson, who didn't face any bowlers on the grass, just indoor school, half trackers and half volleys. That's all he did for half an hour. Just bumped straight drives and cover drives and like just pulled. They went, that's me done, lads. He was happy. Whereas someone like Chris Rogers, netted like an hour and a half, every bowler, something different. You know, just two players, and they open the batting together, but just two players that do things so differently. I just find it so interesting that even at that level, people go about things in different ways.
Yeah, that's why
I take credit for that because Rogers got 100 in that Test match. So pulled them into form.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why Watson kept kicking them.
Yeah, he must have kicked 4 or 5 while he was there, because all he does is plant his front foot and just go bang, 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 and then as soon as it moves, he kicks it. But when he doesn't miss it and he hits it hard, he goes far. So it's funny.
It's interesting, isn't it? And you know, I remember I was watching a Steve Smith talk about batting and stuff, and I say it's a lot to players I work with. Is he said I could face one ball, hit the middle of the bat, and I'm good. I'm good to go. I could face 10 balls, 100 balls, 500 balls, still not find that rhythm, and I'm not ready to go. And it's so interesting that every time that could change. It could be 1 ball, 10 ball, 100 balls, but once he's in that rhythm, he's there, he's gone. That's it. And it's just that way of prepping, and it's that cycle. It's so cricket is a weird old sport where you know you're 1 against 11. It's a team sport, but you're 1 against 11, especially batting. And
it's an individual game. It's a massive individual game.
Yeah, in a team environment, which is odd, and it's so unique. Right, segments. I have my first segment. It's called the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
You get 3 cricketers, past or present, dead or alive, that you'd love to go for brekkie with.
Right. Okay. I actually might go. So I'm going to take a couple of New Zealanders. Funny we're talking about that. So Daniel Vittori was always a hero of mine. Left arm spinner, ugly left arm batter, wore glasses. Yeah, that's a bit of me. So Daniel Vittori's on there. He's on there every day. I'm taking NASA, I reckon. So I reckon NASA is pound for pound one of the best analysts in the world in any sport. I think he's quality. I think his understanding of the game is so good, and just the way he talks about it. And he actually doesn't hold any punch. He doesn't like. So he did an interview the other week with where Pope was in the studio, and they were talking about how bad English batting was, and he just went in on them. And I love that. He's like sat next to him. He just doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
He just wants to speak what he believes. So NASA's the other one. So I'm taking so Vittori, NASA, and I'm gonna take Chris Gale because I think when he's lining up, he just seems like one of the best humans you could ever meet.
Yeah.
It's quite a rogue 3.
That's a good 3. I like it. You get your spin tips from Vittori.
Yeah.
You get the brutal, honest truth from NASA, and then you just get the presence of Chris Gale.
Yeah. What more do you want than that?
What more do you want? You're filling fish. I like it.
Yeah.
And just to finish off, mate. Everyone knows the podcast will finally understand my love for horse racing. We will get there. 4 weeks to go until I go to Cheltenham. Can't wait.
Counting down the days, are we?
Yeah, no, not quite, not at all. Yes, I am. I'm excited. So, Jimmy, if you had a racehorse, what are you calling it?
So I am a massive advocate of human names for animals.
Like it.
So, like all the dogs we've had is. So my parents' dogs at the moment are called Dylan and Rosie. My dog's called Walter. I had a cat called Barney. You know, so I like human names for animals. So horse-wise, I just think it'd be funny if you've got all these fancy names and you just got a horse called Mark. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Simon. Here comes Simon. You know what I mean? So I think something like that, where it's just a nice built tradesman's name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
something like that. So like a Mark
Oh,
or a Simon, or apologies to all Marks and Simons out there. It's a lovely name, but I'm I'm using it as an example.
oh God, you just got all these really fancy names, and then it's just Mark coming over the final
Yeah,
hurdle
exactly.
up the hill.
And imagine seeing that when you get a BBC Sport notification and Mark wins the Grand National. Is that the jockey? Is that the horse? I don't know.
Love it. Oh, that's my favourite so far. Apologies to the other lads, but that's oh, that's good. Jimmy, thank you very much for your time, mate.
Pleasure, mate.
I've
Been great. It's been good to chat.
yeah, it's been really, really good, mate. Really, really good. Yeah, I will leave Jimmy's socials in the description and all over my social media as well. So make sure you go and check out his stuff because yeah, he's brilliant at what he does. So go and check him out. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.